everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I have a book review for you. It's called Knowledge Encyclopedia. It's by DK, as always. Love DK books. They're super beautiful to look at but also to learn from. And this particular one is Plants and Fungi. Our growing world as you have never seen it before. It truly is exactly that. The way they represent plants and the kingdom of the ecosystem is just absolutely mind-blowing, and I think it's such a fantastic gift idea if you want to slow down during Christmas. Personally, that's my favorite thing to do, to finally just put the fire on, put a nice blanket on, cup of tea, and sit down with a nice encyclopedia. Especially if you have kids around. Engaging beautiful illustrations or imagery always gets them curious. This book has been published in 2023, so this year, so it's very new. In fact, I pre-ordered it and had to wait a little bit for it to come out. I think it was around September, October, around that time. And yeah, it's a wonderful book, so I thought some of you would be really interested, especially if you're interested in plants and fungi, so mushrooms. So this book has a combination of real imagery as well as super high quality digital imagery. I'm not someone who used to like digital images purely because they didn't used to be that good, but nowadays they are so realistic that it's hard to tell if it's a photo or if it's digitally designed. So this book, as you can see, is stunning to look at. The combination of things that are put together into the imagery is beautiful, but foremost it's the book of knowledge, so it will teach you a lot. So let's look at the contents. We have the plant kingdom, growing and feeding, reproduction, ecosystems, people and plants, and a whole chapter on the fungus kingdom. So if you are into mushrooms and you love to learn about plants and mushrooms, then this would be a beautiful book. So great example, we have a beautiful spread as we open the book, and you could not take a picture of this in the real life. So we have the trees, we have the above the surface, so the grasses, the wild animals, the wildlife, insects, and anything that grows and thrives above ground. But also we see under the ground immediately what happens underneath that grass layer that you can see, how the mushrooms grow, what kind of root system is happening between the trees and the mushrooms, and all sorts of other things. And that is, of course, all part of the ecology. So then we start with plant kingdom, and let me just show you a lovely layout. I absolutely adore encyclopedias. Ever since I was little, my favorite thing to do apart from drawing and painting was when I had a friend over, would get these beautiful encyclopedias that my dad bought somewhere abroad, and we would lay down on the floor on the carpet, be nice and cozy, and just start flipping through pages and talk about all these animals and plants. And it was the best thing ever. And of course this was pre all the computers, pre all the phones and everything. So it's just something visually very, very satisfying to me. So now every time as an adult, when I pick up a beautiful encyclopedia, I am immediately drawn to it. So here I would assume this is a real plant because it looks super real to me, so I can't really make out if it's digitally created or not. We have the root system, and we have the whole plant, which I would imagine they just took out of the soil, washed up the roots, and took a quick picture before it wilted. So that can be done. Then, of course, we have real pictures over here, and talking about what's a plant, what is not a plant. Photosynthesis is something that is brought up again and again in this book, because, of course, it's a big part of plants growing and trees growing. Without it, it wouldn't be happening. So I'm just going to give you an idea how enjoyable this book is. Apart from the photography or digital pictures, or sometimes it's also microscope images, it's also super informative, and you can see there's small chunks of information. So especially for a child or someone who has trouble focusing for too long of a time, you can just kind of select areas that you want to learn about and then move on to another subject, or another plant rather. So this book covers it absolutely all. Now look at this picture, isn't it stunning? So this to me looks like a real picture, and you would think this is something out of Alien, the movie, but it's actually a close-up, like a microscopic close-up of the spore capsules that you will find under the fern leaves. So if you ever looked underneath a fern, you will see that there's loads of spores. In fact, I am so geeky when it comes to this sort of thing that I have, well, don't tell it to my son, he has a birthday in a few days, but don't know at what point the video will be coming out, possibly after his birthday. But for his birthday, one of the presents I have ordered is a really good quality microscope, and sneakily I'm hoping to be able to use it. And so I have few ferns at home, and therefore I want to just like look into different things. Apparently even something like onion skin will show you some really interesting things under the microscope. So the patterns is what I'm looking at. So what we saw here, you can totally be inspired for patterns when you're creating art, and that's also another perspective of why I look at these books, not only for the information and beautiful inspirational images or just adoring things and learning about them, but also what I could potentially take as pattern inspiration into my art. So like I said earlier, this book literally covers everything. It is such an in-depth book, and there will be so much to learn from, even if you are a seasoned gardener, and even if you think you know quite a lot, I'm pretty sure there'll be something here that will be new to you. And let's just get to the end of this chapter. Again, once in a while you get this stunning spread. It's huge, and you can just really have the most close-up imaginable into these textures. And then we have the next chapter, growing and feeding, and it goes on. So just to give you a quick flip through, I'm looking for this picture to show you where there is a combination of digital imagery as well as, yeah, I'm just going to try and find that image just to show you. Look how beautiful the root system is. These are the roots of some trees in jungles. So again, there's loads of this to see, which you would not know, but look at this. This looks like a bumblebee nest. It is. And I always wonder, where do bumblebees live? I thought maybe like wasps or the bees, whoever like has a nest on the trees. But I do know that at one point when we were doing gardening, we came across this like big, it looked like a wasp nest right at the bottom of a fence, and I was really surprised to know that basically wasps live under the ground. I thought they'd be up the tree somewhere, but no. So apparently bumblebees dig out a nest and they live there as well. So you would not be able to see this in the picture. So the fact that it's digitally designed and gives you a slab of the entire ecosystem above and below the ground is just incredible in my view. Okay, I'll try to find that image that I was talking about. Oh, here it is. So here it almost looks like some part of this could be a real image that has been digitally enhanced maybe. and then they sort of cut off the top of it to show you digitally, create an image to show you what it looks like inside and how these ants create nests inside there. So beautiful, stunning, very unique, very unusual. I haven't come across a book that is this stunning and this visually impressive and just gives you the most understanding that there possibly could be, with a great detail about plants. And so let's get to the, so here we have the vegetables and things. It says people and plants, and then I want to show you the fungus kingdom. So here you'll see all sorts of interesting things, some that are quite sort of unique, and it talks about fungus and some of the benefits, obviously in penicillin and things like that, and also how it spreads, how it grows, the root system of it. And I thought this is a really beautiful image to see all the stages right next to each other, and most of us would have seen them in botanical books or, you know, illustrations, but you don't get to see it in such a realistic manner with such a beautiful close-up where you can see all the textures, all the bumps, all the bits that are exactly like the real thing. And of course, how they're connected through the root system like that. They're almost entangled. And loads of beautiful things. Have you ever seen glowing mushrooms? I mean, I heard about them, but still very nice to see such a big close-up and beautiful image of a mushroom exploding with the spores that will then spread. They're called puffballs. So there you go. Again, beautiful imagery. And then here it explains to you what happens to the life cycle of a specific mushroom that is eaten by the animals who eat grass. So with it, they consume the mushroom, and then what happens thereafter. And here is a kitchen garden that looks very much like mine. And also what happens when there is some rotting there, etc. This is an image I used for an illustration. And then there is more and more. And look at the size of this mushroom here. So there you go. At the end you have the glossary, and that is it. So this book also has other subject matters if you are interested. There's also ocean, human body history, knowledge encyclopedia. I guess that's probably about everything, mixture of all things. And then animal, dinosaur, earth, science and space. We already have the space one, by the way. I just realized we gifted it to my son a while ago. This one is kind of a board to use for myself and him, but things like, you know, the ocean, I would love to add that one as well. And then whatever else he will start showing interest, like history or human body or science, that's another good one, I think. So I think these books would be fantastic to engage children in, and it's such an abundance of information. So this book review is pretty long. I didn't expect it to be that long. Usually they're half the time, but I wanted to show you all the good stuff from this book and give you a good idea what this book is about. As always, you will find a link, an affiliated link to this book down below in the information, and If you fancy, for your own convenience, you can use it to support this channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.